I'll just compliment you here, just in the hallway. But what a beautiful jacket on this man.
Thank you.
Looks great.
Well, if I may, I must say, I hope that you've had a great birthday weekend in your hometown.
I did. Thank you very much.
Let's
Good
go.
way to ring it in.
Let's go. A lot of positivity around tonight.
Yes, such a great pay-per-view. Yet again, AEW knocked it out of the park. And let's bring on our first guests, yeah?
Absolutely.
All right, please welcome on The Demand, Ricochet, and the Gates of Agony. Gentlemen. So much animosity with me all the time, Ricochet.
Thank you. I appreciate that coming from you, sir. I appreciate that coming from a very fashionable man like you, sir.
Excuse me, Tony, real quick.
Yes.
I need everyone in here to show your sign of respect and throw it up for us, The Demand.
Gentlemen, how are we feeling after tonight, physically, mentally? How are we checking in?
What kind of? I knew it was going to be some kind of question. Like, what are you talking about? Look, what do you mean? How do we feel?
I'm just being courteous.
What do you mean? How we feel? Look at these guys. We feel amazing. We just put down one of the most dominating teams in AEW history. Put them down. We didn't just beat them. We put them down. We made an impact. We made a statement.
Certainly.
And after your background with them, I imagine that was very gratifying to you personally and professionally.
You know, you're lucky I like you, Tony.
You're very lucky. It's worked out for the worldwide wrestling public that you like me and that you took a chance to come here. I think it's been great.
To answer your question, absolutely. After the humiliation that they attempted to put me through, I said this before, MVP, did he not think that something was going to happen? Like, I've been around MVP for years. He's taught me for years. He's the one that took me under his wing and he put me on game. You know what I'm saying? You embarrassed me and he didn't think that I was going to retaliate in some way. I mean, so I blame him for everything that's happened. So, and tonight, these guys showed how dominant they can be against the Bobby Lashley and the Shelton Benjamin. They showed that they don't mean nothing to these two. They're not afraid of them. I know a lot of people might be afraid of them. They're not afraid of them. And I think tonight we went all out and we showed that we in demand right now.
With that, we will open the floor to questions from the media.
And it better be good too, or I'll next you quick.
Right, guys. Johnny from the Johnny I Pro Show. I gotta say, congrats on a huge win. I gotta say, what is next for you guys?
I said somebody gonna ask me. So what's next for you guys? If you was us, what do you think? What do you think? What would you do if you was us right now? So you already knew the answer to your question before you even asked it. You know what I'm saying? And to go off that, if not for the Hurt Syndicate, we would have beat the Trios champion in the 2300 arena. If not for MVP coming out and hitting me with the cane, we were literally about to win the match. So I say that's the next thing in our horizon. That's got to be. We the baddest team. We the baddest team right now. We took out the entire Hurt, not just Bobby Shelton, and MVP. All of them. So we riding high right now.
How you guys doing? Alan Owens from Owens Talk. This question's for Toa. It feels like you kind of had your coming out party last week, and it feels like right now you are coming into your own. How does it feel to not only get this massive win over the Hurt Syndicate, but to feel like you are standing on your own 2 feet and becoming the monster that I feel like every fan in the world thinks that you should be?
I mean, I'll just keep it simple. It feels right. I mean, all the work that we did leading up to this, our partnership with Ricochet wouldn't have happened if he didn't see this in me and in us. So to have the opportunities to showcase that, to not just show them what they already know, but to show you guys and the rest of the world what the demand is up now next.
2 more questions.
Hi guys, Joel Pearl, Fightful, and In the Weeds podcast. There's been some conversation in our world about, well, the little laugh, Ricochet, that you did 2 questions ago. And people want to know, is it inspired by the artist Jadakiss?
We did say ask him. This is true. That is true. That's on us. We want to know that.
Short answer, no. But obviously I was aware of it before, but I actually stole that from a family member that does it in our family a lot. When he is either embarrassed or a joke doesn't land, he'll go, ah, and he'll just leave. So, yeah, I stole it from him. It's mine now.
Okay, last question.
Ella J, a wrestling gal.
Last question. The last one.
Ricochet, a few months ago, you said that you were looking to find new allies for yourself. There's a plethora on the roster. Why did you decide to choose Gates of Agony to align yourself with? Why were they fitting for you?
Do you see what we look like?
Yes, I do.
How disrespectful of a question is that? Do we not look like superstars? Why would he not pick us?
And I got a question. Did you see their match against the Hurt Syndicate?
I did.
Did you see the tag match they had?
I did.
Okay. As soon as I saw that match, I said, these are the guys that's going to take these guys down. I said, again, like you said, a lot of talented guys, sure. But I need guys who are going to be able to take down the Hurt. I don't need just talented guys. I need the guys. And as soon as I saw that match, I said, those are my guys.
Congratulations on a big night for the Demand, for the Gates of Agony, the GOA, for Ricochet. Very, very impressive. I have one question about the strategy of this match, and I have to know, because you are a master tactician, Ricochet, I have to know, was it in your plans to try to isolate MVP, to try to take advantage of MVP's anger, to try to get him to overextend himself because he hasn't been as active as the three of you? Was that strategy?
The moment the match was announced. The moment the match was announced, I said, we taking him out first. Yes. He's the one that we got to lock onto. As soon as it came to fruition, I said, that's the game plan.
MVP is one of the greatest strategists in wrestling, one of the smartest people in wrestling, and I have to give a lot of credit to you, Ricochet. That's very brilliant.
Absolutely. And I'm sure they had the plan for that. It's just
We also had another plan for that.
Well, gentlemen, congratulations. A big victory for you tonight. Hopefully you can go out on the streets of Toronto and celebrate a little bit.
I would go out on the streets of Toronto.
We don't miss our flight.
Yeah, I miss my flight.
The audacity.
Psych.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Con. Very impressive. Very impressive.
Shall we change the tides here a little bit and maybe bring in some people?
Friendlier faces.
I was waiting till the door shut.
Friendlier faces in AEW.
Yeah, let's bring in a friendlier face. Guys, please give it up for our new AEW Women's World Champion, Kris Statlander. Woo-hoo! You did it. You did it.
Wow. What a day. What a day. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Buddy.
Oh my God. You thought I wasn't going to get one.
What a moment. Everyone's been waiting to see who is going to be the woman to dethrone Timeless Toni Storm. You are a homegrown talent for AEW. What does it mean to you to be able to have that championship around your waist right now? Well, in front of you right now.
Yes. I mean, it's very surreal because, like you said, I've homegrown. I've been here since 2019. I've lost opportunities at this title so often, or not so often, but a good amount of times that I was like, okay, maybe I like slow my roll a little bit. And now 5 years, 6 years later, to be finally sitting here with this is like one of the most insane things ever. And I don't really have a lot of words to describe it, honestly. It's kind of just like, well, here it is.
Gotta let it sink in a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, questions for Kris Statlander.
Hi, Derek T. Lewis with the D-Loop podcast on Believe Network. First and foremost, congratulations, champ. You made history tonight in Toronto, becoming the first woman on the roster to be the TBS champion and the AEW Women's World Champion. If you can explain to the people at home and here in this room, what does hitting that milestone mean to you, being the first one to do it?
Well, it's been sort of a very up and down journey for me. And I feel like there were so many opportunities that like maybe I could have had the chance to be the first at early on, but I was derailed by my knee injury. So I kept like, oh, maybe I'll come back and maybe I'll be the first person to do this. And then, you know, I get injured and then time passes by and other people step up and take that position for you. So it's like very much so been a little bit not hurtful, but disheartening having to be like, something that was out of my control stopped me from having that historic moment. And now to like finally have something to my name to be like, I'm the first ever to do this is like, it just makes all those injuries, all the hard times, all the ups and downs so worth it, because I worked so unbelievably hard to be in this position that I'm at today. And to finally just to have that title means more than I could ever imagine. Wrestling is insane.
Riley Dwar, K-Rock 105.7, Rogers Sports and Media. I think the obvious question is the Death Riders. They've been trying to get your ear for some time, and Wheeler Yuta did make an appearance just before your match got underway. Can you share with us what words you exchanged or how that may have affected your match?
I mean, I didn't say anything to him besides, please get the F away from me. I have never once invited him to any of my endeavors, post best friends related things. So I don't know why he knows where I am. I'm assuming he put an AirPod tracker in my bags. He's got to be keeping tabs on me somehow. I was hoping he would be the one to end up in the coffin.
Okay, but that's the second. That's the second.
That too. Right? Yeah.
That is the second time in recent weeks, and you just won the world championship on one of the biggest stages in AEW. You just had this huge moment, and okay, you told Wheeler Yuta to get out, but you also used Wheeler Yuta's signature seatbelt pin to win the world championship.
Well, Tony, he's not the only one that's ever used the seatbelt pin. There's been some greats before him, like Orange Cassidy and Chuck Taylor, that have also maybe use that as a more signature thing. So maybe it was seeing his face reminded me about those things. And maybe it's not exactly Yuta that I'm emulating.
Okay. Great answer, champ.
Thank you.
Answer from a great champion.
Yes, exactly. He gets it.
Two more questions for Miss Statlander.
Mark Quill, Wrestling Observer. Congratulations on your title win, Kris.
Thank you.
And my question for you is that who would you want to be your first challenger as the new champion?
I mean, honestly, got to give it up to the former champ, Toni Storm. She and I have still never had a singles match. And now I have 2 pins over her. So I would love to just have, for my own my own conscience. You know what I'm saying. For my own state of mind, to know that I actually can beat her singles match, one-on-one, no other people. Wow. I need that reassurance.
That would be your dream match.
My dream match, yes. The timeless one and me.
Fascinating.
Hi. First of all, congratulations again. Amazing match. You killed it. Like the finish was awesome. Like me and my wife are really excited for you to win.
Thank
and I called it. Not showing off. So you mentioned Orange Cassidy, and like Orange Cassidy is in the conglomeration, and yes, so is your former best friend. Is there a chance that since you don't like Yuta, you go back to that group?
I can't make any promises because I've really only had one person sort of believe in me lately, and that is Hurley Cameron. She's the only one that's kind of like seen through everything that's been going on with me. And I truly haven't, I would say, pick a side. It's hard to not hear some good advice from some very credible people and just to ignore it. But I also, I understand why a lot of people don't want to associate with me. I've messed up a lot in the past. I've hurt a lot of people, including Orange Cassidy, and I understand if they wouldn't accept me. And I I know like me and of course Willow have been at odds for forever, but I don't blame her for that. I think I still have, just like winning a title and being friendly with Harley doesn't necessarily mean I'm a good person. And I know that there's still a lot of work that I need to do. So you can never say never, but I also I think give people the space that they need. That's all.
Well, Harley, along with Queen Aminata, Mina Shirakawa, and Willow Nightingale, they had a great win in the tailgate brawl to kick things off tonight on TNT, which was very successful. But I was very glad that after that match, I was very glad to see Harley Cameron out there celebrating with you. That was a nice moment for both of you, I thought.
Yeah, and that is what true friendship really is being there for others, even in their success.
Well, congratulations to you. It is fantastic to see you with that gold. Hell yes. Carry on celebrating.
Thank
ma'am.
you so much. Uh-oh. Nope.
Way to go.
Yes. We did it. We did it. Woo-hoo!
What a win. What a star. Just the beginning. It's cool to see someone at this point. We've seen moments with Kris Statlander, but this feels like she's about to take off.
That was really something very special.
Yeah.
Thank you for making a note of that historical title change. Thank you for making note of the history made by Kris Statlander. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the World Tag Team Champions, Brodito.
Woo! Hello.
Hello, Renee.
Hello, gentlemen. That was an absolutely insane ladder match, as ladder matches tend to be.
Fantastic.
But Bandito, please talk to me about this moonsault with the ladder. My goodness.
Awesome.
It was insane.
Crazy move, right?
Yes.
Can I talk about it?
Yes.
He came up to me right before he did. He said, "You give me the ladder." I said, "Okay." and then I gave him the ladder. He said, "This is going to be fucking awesome."
And it was.
During the match. I went, yeah, it was.
Yeah. I'm sorry for that, man.
That's my man.
All right, questions for the tag champs.
And that?
No questions.
Whoa, no. I have questions.
How you fellas doing? Alan Owens with Owens Talk. So ladder matches aren't a stipulation you see on a regular day basis. And you guys just cooked up what many will consider one of those phenomenal matches. While it was going on, did you guys in that moment realize that you guys are putting on magic? Like, did it feel like this is going to be one of those ladder matches that we're going to be talking about months and years from now?
No, it felt like a lot of pain.
Yeah, same for me. Yeah.
I immediately regret doing a Dante's Inferno onto a ladder, but the gift looks cool.
We're in it for the gifts.
That's awesome.
It's Macaulay from Rock 95 up in Barrie. On the same card that you've got Adam Copeland and Christian reuniting in a city that they have spent many years in, you guys are in the ladder match. Was there any consideration that on this card you've got legends of ladder matches, and did that come into the planning or the hope to kind of live up to something? Was there any kind of thought process involving that?
I mean, honestly, I had figured that their match was going to be a ladder match just by default for some reason, and then when it wasn't, it's like, okay, well, we're on a show in a ladder match with Cope and Christian. We gotta step it up, you know. I think everyone out there was ready to go as far as we had to go and put our bodies on the line for the fans, and I think it paid off. And like the last question, yeah, I think that we could feel that out there as well.
Yeah, you're good, man.
He's good, man.
You need to talk to.
It's good promo.
Hello.
Hello.
Alex Lajas with Instinct Culture. So
Queen of the Ring.
Queen of the Ring. Yes, thank you. So Bandito is the World of Ring of Honor champion, and you guys did an amazing job tonight. Brody, do you have your eyes on a singles title?
Ooh.
You know, I've been in the Continental Classic the last 3 years.
This
2
could
years?
be, well, 2 years.
2 years.
Potentially, this could be the third year.
It's a hard schedule there, Tony. But you know, I do love wrestling as a singles competitor, but right now I'm very focused on the tag titles, and I think that we have a little bit of what they would call magic in a bottle with Brodito. So, you know, I'm always up for the challenge. You know, I have no love lost with Kyle Fletcher, so maybe the TNT title in the future is dangerously out of his grasp. I don't know.
2 more questions for the tag champs.
Okay. Hi, Joel Pearl from Fightful and in the Weeds. Brody, this is a question for you. Earlier this week on the media call, Tony Khan was asked about wrestlers being able to express themselves openly and freely. I want to get your thoughts, not only the words that Tony had to say, but also yourself as a professional wrestler who very openly supports and does what he does.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important to be able to express your voice with whatever platform you have in life, really, and to have a boss that kind of lets that happen. And obviously I don't think any of us are going out there and doing anything that would damage the reputation of the company or damage the reputation of Tony. So I think everything that people like myself or Hangman or like others that have said something in the past have done is all for the betterment of humanity in general. So yeah, it is amazing to be part of this company, and thank you, Tony, for letting us be the way that we are.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Brody. And I know that's who you are. I know when Hangman says something, I know that's who he is. And you guys are representing your authentic selves, and you're representing yourselves personally, not necessarily the views of the company. But I think something great about AEW is that the wrestlers really bring their true selves to the ring. And I know that's who you are, and I'm not going to try to make you change what you are and what you believe.
But let's not forget, we still have pieces of shit like MJF out there,
Let's go. We can all agree on that.
Last question.
What's up, guys? Scott Cancel from The Score. Sorry.
Shout out to the Score.
Oh, yes. Shout out to The Score. Score forever.
That's right.
I'm just curious, in a match that chaotic with that many bodies, like what's the key to kind of locking in and making sure, where you're supposed to be, you're hitting your spots, you're making your moves?
And how do you lock in?
Well, hello, amigo. That match was crazy, and we just put our bodies, our soul in that ring for all the people from Canada, and I think we do magic in that ring. It's amazing for Brodito and for all the other tag team in this match, and I think it's gonna be like a epic match. Yeah.
I also want to note that I've never had a tag team partner that loves wrestling the way that Bandito does, and it's so infectious. And I feel like, for better and worse for my body, he makes me want to go a step further in everything, because he'll be like, "That's it," and you're like, "All right, we're getting crazier, I guess." So yeah, it's a lot of him. He is the spirit of lucha libre and professional wrestling.
And it's not a question. It's not a question, but I have to say, from what you guys have been able to do just in the past month alone, from winning the championships at Forbidden Door in London, then defending the championships in the United States, going to Arena Mexico and defending the championships just last Friday, 8 days ago.
The first tag title defense outside of AEW.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? It's the first time those belts have been defended in another promotion like that. Very, very cool history being made. And I thought it was so impressive. You won the championships in the UK. You've defended them in the US, Mexico, now defended them in Canada. You're truly
Japan.
And now potentially could be defending them in many places, including potentially in Japan. I think you guys are great fighting champions, and I just have to say I'm very proud of both of you. Thank you for everything you're doing. Thank you.
Go find these men an ice bath. Cool it down.
Ice bath.
Thank you.
Congrats, guys.
Thank you, Brody.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, gracias, someone.
Thank you both.
Cheers, are okay.
So you want to do that, Jake?
Thank you.
Yeah, I do.
No, yeah, come on.
Oh.
Boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom.
You got it.
You got it.
You got it.
Thank you.
I do love the handshake. Hey, congratulations.
Well,
I
let's
do
keep
love
rolling
it.
on with the champs, huh?
Well, let's keep it going.
Let's keep it going.
Let's keep it going.
Yeah.
And we've got more smiling, positive faces than what we saw at the beginning. from the
Yeah, he
demand.
might not be feeling physically so hot, but guys, please welcome the AEW Men's World Champion, Hangman Adam Page.
Sorry, guys, I'm moving a little sluggish here.
Congrats.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
Congrats, Hangman.
Hangman, I feel like you were potentially less than 100% even coming into this match after what happened on Dynamite.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you guys just put yourselves through it out there. How are you feeling right now physically?
Rough. Yeah, just honestly rough. But that's the job. You feel rough and you just, well, you know this. You get up and you do it again. So get up, do it again. I'll be there Wednesday. That's how it goes.
Let's go.
Question for the men's world champion.
Mark Quill, Wrestling Observer.
Hello.
Congrats on the victory. You said prior to the match, you said that Kyle Fletcher was not ready. After the battle that you two had, do you feel that he is ready now?
Jesus. He was more ready than I anticipated, I think. There was a point where he hit a brain buster on me, and I managed to kick out, but I lost for a minute, lost strength, lost feeling in the right one. And I'm throwing clotheslines at him, and I'm frustrated because they're like, I'm trying with every, like my brain's doing it, but nothing's happening. Like it won't go. And he lingered on that too long. He relished on that too long. And instead of just trying to capitalize, he pulled the turnbuckle pad off, tried to set me up top and do it on that. He made a mistake. That's what I meant when I said he's not ready. Because you have to keep your composure, and he couldn't tonight. I hope that the next chance that he gets, whenever that comes, he will, because I want the best out of him. I know how young he is. I know how much he loves this. This is a lot of, like all of us, this is his life. This is his life's work, but it's also his life, and he's going to be around for a very long time, I think. So I want more from him. I want better from him. I demand it, because I think one day, eventually, he may be able to hold this, but he couldn't do it tonight because he wasn't ready, lost his composure. That's what I meant when I said he wasn't ready. Yeah.
Hey, Hangman, Gervier Bra from Screen Off Script. So a few years ago, I saw you main event the first All Out against Chris Jericho, and you came up short. But now it's years later. You're the guy that's carrying the ball. We've seen Will Ospreay get injured. We've seen Swerve get injured. And now Kenny Omega wasn't able to be on the card. How do you feel like you felt coming into this card where the pressure was all on you? It felt like the ball was all in your hands. How did you feel about the pressure going in? And after the match, how do you feel about the result of everything? And how are you feeling after your performance?
I all in against Mox, I had so much help. Like I'll never deny that. And I don't think anyone laid a hand on Mox. They just fought the Death Riders off. But I had so much help. I had so many people behind me. And I have that night, and since then, I've watched nearly each and every one of them disappear. They're hurt. There are things going on. And it's heartbreaking because, I had that support, and I was starting to, be a better version of myself. And I was kind of looking forward to what those friendships could be like. And then poof, they're gone. And then it's just me with this championship by myself. That's pressure. This championship coming into it alone is pressure. Getting the Don Callis family out of tonight's match, making sure that it was just one-on-one, me and Kyle, was a great reassurance. But I knew it wasn't going to be an easy thing. And afterwards, as much as he may have made a mistake there at the end, I know that if he had not made that mistake, I might not be at the scrum tonight. It might be him. So that's pressure too, because I know there's another one. There's another one coming, and there's another after that, and there's another after that. It's inevitable. That is the pressure that I would feel. I do feel as champion, but that's the job. You get up and you do it again until you can't. So I'm glad that I still can now, and I'm just going to keep going until the wheels come off.
Hey, Hangman. Amin El-Sharif from Ring Control. You've been doing this at the highest level for so many years. You've had so many title wins and main evented stadiums, all kinds of stuff. How do you keep raising the bar at this level of your career?
It's not necessarily like a conscious effort. Every match, your body's starting to get worn down more and worn down more, and it takes more and it takes more to make sure that you can hold on to this. So, the bar is getting raised for me in that respect. And I've just got to keep climbing to continue to reach it, I think.
Adam, congratulations, Johnny, from the Johnny I Pro Show. And I got to say, you've defeated so many greats. Now, what is next for you as well? What is your dream match, if you could think of one?
That's a great question. As far as a dream match, I don't know. I've never really been the kind of one to like have a dream opponent or dream match, or, I don't know. I think we shot around All In. We shot some documentary stuff, and I sat down for a long interview that, it got long and I got comfortable, and I really started thinking about what all of this has meant to me. I think one of the questions was similar, like, what have you always wanted out of this? And, there was never like a crowd that I wanted to be in. Like, that wasn't my goal. There was never, this championship, as much as it does mean to me, obviously it didn't even exist when I started wrestling. There was never like the innate drive to like, my goal is to be the world champion. Like, what I wanted from professional wrestling was to have a place, and earn my way into it and feel accepted into that world. That's all I wanted, whether it was 10,000 people, whether it was 10 people, I just wanted to be accepted into this so bad. And I still do every time. And that's every match, I'm going into it thinking, the bar here, the bar around the world is so high. I've got to continue to climb, to continue to reach that, continue to be accepted here, That's what I've always really wanted out of wrestling. So not necessarily a dream opponent. Holding this world championship is certainly like a dream achievement, but more than anything, in my entire career, it's just been to kind of figure out where in the world I belong. And I'm glad, because I think I've figured that out.
2 more questions for Hangman.
Hangman, John Pollock from Post Wrestling.
Hi.
Obviously today, the big story was this head-to-head competition between AEW and WWE. And I just wanted to get some of your thoughts maybe on the vibe of the locker room going into this, and especially you and Kyle with what was on your shoulders, perhaps to put a punctuation on this show. How much is that story permeating in the locker room, and what was the overall attitude of what today meant?
That's a great question. And because I think that the assumption would be it's what we're talking about, it's what we're worried about. But the honest truth is that it's not remotely. It's something that we see coming. When it does happen, it's like, okay, yeah, I figured. And it's not something we're thinking. We're so focused on what we do here. We've got how many people here today? 10, 12?
Over 13,000.
Over 13,000 people in the building today who came to see us. We've got, God knows, 100, 200, 300. I don't know how many people buy pay-per-view. I don't know this stuff. All those people buy those pay-per-views. They're here to watch us. That's what we're focused on. And I know that might not be like what you would assume is happening and what the talk is, but that's like the honest truth. We are just so committed and so focused on putting forth the best effort that we can. That's all that's on our mind. And that's like honest to God.
Definitely felt like the energy backstage today and at All In Texas was very much all focused on what everyone felt like was going to be a great event. And tonight, everybody came out. Thankfully, I felt like the vibe after was so positive about AEW and what we're doing here, and what a great show we had, what a great champion we have, what a great new women's world champion we have. And I really felt like tonight, this show was a celebration of this locker room.
Yeah.
Drew Dalby, Brock and Dalby Show, Rogers Sports and Media. Congratulations on the win today.
Thank you.
Previous question had mentioned that there are some pretty significant injuries near the top of the card, which does open the door for people like Kyle Fletcher to kind of step in there. You bested your opponent today, but I guess I was wondering, what words would you have for other members of the locker room who maybe find themselves where you were at that original All Out, looking at the top, seeing guys like Swerve and Omega and Ospreay not around, and maybe having a path to come find you for that title?
Earn your way there and take your shot. Come to me, find me, take your shot. That's my word of advice. I told Kyle that I would put him down, and I did. And I think the most important thing, you know, I faced this 6 years ago. He is going to face it in the morning, is that feeling, you know, when you've given it everything that you have your shot, you gave it everything you had, and it's not enough. That will break you. I mean, it absolutely broke me. It made me ruin my friendships for people who tried to support me. It took me down such like a terrible path when you've given everything that you have and it's just not enough. It can strip all the confidence you have from you. And someone like Kyle Fletcher has confidence in spades. And I wonder what that will do to him. But he will have a decision, and anyone else who steps up to me and I manage to put away, they will face the same decision. You know, what do you do next? I hope in some respects that they don't do some of the things that I did. But in a lot of ways, I hope that they do a little bit, because I was able to kind of figure out, you know, who I was, and it was a long path and a long journey. And, you know, I made some regrettable decisions, and I've made plenty more since then. But I think ultimately, like, that is life, right? And I think, you know, art may imitate life, but what we do kind of just is life. And I would encourage anyone who steps up to me, and like Kyle tomorrow morning, to think long and hard about what you do next, you know, to keep your head down, to keep working, to keep grinding, keep focused on what you want to achieve, because someone like Kyle has all the talent in the world. And, you know, he's 26 years old. I think he will hold this championship one day. It's not today, and it's not tomorrow morning for him. And I hope he can remember that there are more days ahead. You know, there's still more time.
Hangman, congratulations on retaining the AEW Men's World Championship.
Thank you.
Thank you, Hangman.
Thank you. Nobody asked me about my plants. I'm surprised.
Are your plants? Are they doing well?
My plants. Well, I just ordered probably 1 billion seeds. I'm about to. Oh, everything.
I'll talk to you about plants. What do we
got? I got some Joe Pye weed. I got some milkweed. I think milkweed is one of the only flowers that monarch butterflies, like the black and orange ones you think of, that they eat from. They you know, lay eggs on, stuff like that. So I've got a shit ton of that I'm about to sow.
This is a good time of season to start throwing these down, right?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna get going probably right after Thanksgiving and sow them down and see what happens. I'm very excited about that too.
This feels like a Discovery. Feels like a Discovery Channel special.
seeds?
I want my special.
That could
Love
be
it.
good.
Love it.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you,
Hangman.
Brian, for that.
Thank you, Hangman.
Moving over?
Yeah, let's
I'll
do
move
it.
here.
Let's do it.
Can I use this mic now?
Please, it's yours. That's yours.
Great. Tony, we did it. You did it.
You did it.
You did
We
it.
did it.
Another successful pay-per-view in the books for AEW. I mean, to see what we did tonight, to see the success, this is one of the highest grossing AEW pay-per-views in history. We saw what the attendance was. What a great night. What do you think that you can attest to some of the success to?
I think it's a testament to the AEW wrestlers, the AEW staff, the whole team, the production team, everybody on screen and off screen. You do both, Renee. And but everybody, whether they're in front of the camera or behind the camera in AEW, and really most importantly, the people who made it possible, the fans.
Mm-hmm.
Over 13,000 people here in the arena tonight. And our first ever pay-per-view on HBO Max, buddy, and we did it. I understand the pay-per-view on HBO Max was a big hit. I don't have all the numbers from all the carriers yet, but this is going to be one of our biggest pay-per-views, certainly of this year. And we're all really excited about it because it was really important for AEW to deliver a home run. The relationship between AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery is absolutely the lifeblood of AEW. And it's having Wednesday Night Dynamite on TBS and now HBO Max, having Saturday Night Collision on TNT and now HBO Max, being able to do something for the first time ever, the Tailgate Brawl live on TNT, and having HBO Max carry not only that, but the AEW All Out pay-per-view. It's our 7th AEW All Out. It's the most tickets we've ever sold for All Out. It's the most tickets we've ever sold in Canada. It's going to be one of our biggest pay-per-views ever, one of our great successes. And it was a real pleasure to host the team from TBS and TNT and HBO Max, including the president of TBS and TNT, Jason Sarlanis, who was here with us and had a great time at the show for the first ever tailgate brawl and the first ever HBO Max pay-per-view All Out, which was a huge hit thanks to all the great fans, thanks to you and the AEW wrestlers, because this is where the best wrestle.
So no pressure coming into tonight.
We did it. We did it, buddy. We did it. It was great. It was a home run.
It was a home run. All right, some questions for Tony Khan.
Hi, Tony. Back here. Right at the back.
Hey.
Chamat Kosandu for Screen Off Script. I actually have 2 questions for you. The first one I'd like to ask you is, you just ran Forbidden Door at the O2 Arena in London. You have a massive show coming up next summer with Wembley Stadium all in. Could you just speak to the UK market specifically when it comes to events, TV deals, and things of that nature, how you anticipate growing the brand and the promotion specifically in that market?
Well, since day one in the UK, we've partnered with ITV. We've partnered with ITV, and now our TV audience has been the best we've ever had on ITV. 2025 is so great for AEW for many reasons. I talked about the great things happening here in North America, but it's also really important to talk about the UK because some of our biggest successes, you talk about our highest grossing shows, that's where we set the world record for the most tickets anyone's ever sold to a wrestling show at Wembley Stadium. Very excited to go back there for AEW All In next year. Again, when we're talking about tonight and the great milestones and successes we've had, that's certainly one of the great things we've been able to accomplish in pro wrestling is not only our record ticket sales in the UK, but also our TV audience and the support from the fans, because right now the audience for AEW in the UK is the highest it's ever been. This week, Dynamite was up over 40% over last year on ITV. This week, Collision was up over 100% over Rampage in the same time slot last year. So to have that kind of growth of 40% for Dynamite year over year, and to have Collision step into that Rampage time slot and be up over 100% in the UK, yeah, that's huge. We just had this massive success at Forbidden Door. We went to the O2. It's the most tickets anybody's ever sold in what I think is the best arena in London, which to me is my personal favorite place on the planet. And I can't wait to be back there. It's going to be really great. We'll be hitting the UK later this year. Very excited to go back to Wales, to Cardiff, where we've had great reception, and to debut in Manchester. Very excited to take the Continental Classic outside of this continent, outside of North America for the first time ever. We've had Continental Classic matches here in Canada and in the US, but never in the UK before. That'll be historic with the Continental Classic debuting in the UK in December. A lot of really exciting things coming up, but I'm glad you asked, because when you talk about the worldwide success of AEW, including here in Canada and in the US with the launch on HBO Max for TV, for Dynamite and Collision in January, for pay-per-view with All Out tonight, one of the huge advantages that AEW's had from the very beginning is having great fans in the UK and a great media partner in the UK with ITV. And that's why I'm so excited about the success we're having there this year. And it's great that you asked about it.
My second question is a bit of a follow-up to this, actually. You're one of the rare people us in the media actually have a bit of access to that has really all the insight to stuff like this. Just a couple of weeks ago, the UFC announced this incredible deal with Paramount Plus, where in the US, it's kind of everything, the whole caboodle. It's like fight nights and pay-per-views under a subscription service. And we're starting to see a few promotions and leagues kind of trend towards that direction. What are your thoughts about that? Is pay-per-view still viable? Could you see a future perhaps where AEW is all under one house, all your shows, Dynamite, Rampage, and pay-per-views?
Well, tonight we've had a great milestone. I think domestically in the United States, we are carrying everything on one media company. Everything is on TBS, TNT, and HBO Max in the US. Every show we do, you can watch that way. And as of tonight, that's the first time this is the case. You know, it's the first time we've ever had HBO Max pay-per-view. Based on the reception and all the feedback I got since the end of the show, just hearing the early preliminary feedback, I think it's a huge success. AEW is delivering great numbers on pay-per-view. This has been a great year on pay-per-view for AEW. So I think the things we've been doing are working very well. We've had really great audience reception. We've been able to have great numbers on TBS and TNT, in many cases higher year over year in TBS and TNT than last year, which is amazing because we also added new viewers on HBO Max. And I think it's really impressive what we've been able to do with the TV, the numbers, but also most importantly, the quality of the shows. And we've been delivering great TVs week in, week out, and now great pay-per-views month in, month out. And this is the first time they've ever been available on HBO Max. So definitely it's a big milestone. And with us having such a great year on pay-per-view, I'm really optimistic about what's going to happen with AEW on HBO Max and pay-per-view and all the great carriers worldwide. Thank you.
One question per person, please. Just try and get to many people as we can.
Hey, Tony, Rob Wong from Toronto Sun. Nice to speak with you again. You announced earlier this week that Cope and Christian would open the show against FTR. I'm just curious from a creative standpoint, how you reached that decision to make that the opening match.
Well, I thought it would make a lot of sense. First of all, there's a ton of worldwide interest in the match. It's a very unique show. We're in the hometown of these two legendary wrestlers. It's only the second time in many years these two have teamed up. As the commentary team did a great job noting, FTR have had hundreds of matches together in that time, literally hundreds and hundreds of matches teaming up in that time. So what happened to lead to that match, the rivalry between those four men that's developed, but also the history with everybody involved, the history with Adam Copeland and FTR, what happened with Rated FTR, but even going long back before that, what happened to Adam Copeland. He got knocked out of pro wrestling, and before there even was an AEW, FTR were the guys working out with him that gave him the confidence to get back into the ring. It's kind of unthinkable to all of us backstage that you'd see these guys in this conflict, because I think at one point Adam Copeland would have said these are his three best friends. And the idea that he would ever be teaming with Christian again and teaming with him against FTR months ago, that would have been pretty unthinkable to everybody here. But it was such a great match. The rivalry and the intensity, the way it's built, I thought on Wednesday, everybody was so excited for the match already, but I thought you could feel the excitement go to even another level at the great September to Remember show that we did on Wednesday with that great crowd in London, Ontario. You could feel the excitement for this match in the air. I thought it was a great way to start the show. I also thought when you're doing something special with a start time of 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific time, having a milestone and a match that you can set the time and say, look, that's when this is going on. I think it created an urgency around the pay-per-view to put such an important historic match in that prominent position, if that makes sense. Thanks, Rob.
And to see Beth Phoenix out there.
Oh, yes. Beth Copeland was awesome.
Iconic, that one.
But I will say that, you know, it was great to see her, but I don't think any of us wanted to see it go the way that it did for her. It could have been a really nice night for Copeland and Christian, but it did, end on a relatively sour note. I think there's still a lot of animosity between those men and now with Beth as well.
We know how far back Beth's relationship also goes with the FTR guys.
That's a great
pretty
point.
dirty.
That's a great point. Is Beth and FTR were really the three people training with Adam Copeland to get him ready to make this kind of comeback. Yeah. So that's a great point too. But certainly it was a very historic comeback. It was a really, really great match, and it ended on such a high note in the ring, bell to bell. It was a shame that the whole segment had to end like that.
Certainly.
Hey, Tony, just at the back here.
Hey.
Logan Brown with the Behind the Belt podcast. What is your message for fans who may have caught their first AEW wrestling event tonight?
Thank you very much for watching. I hope that everybody enjoyed it. I always like to ask the live crowds, how many of you have been to AEW before? And then who's here for the first time ever? And I always like when you go out after and get a chance, if I can ask, do you have a good time? And usually I feel like almost always the answer from the people in the crowd is a resounding yes. And I would love to say the same thing to everybody watching at home, even though I can't literally hear the feedback like I can from the fans in the arena. Whether it was your first time watching AEW or whether you've watched it a few times before or many, many times before or anything in between, thank you for watching tonight. I really appreciate everybody who watched AEW All Out, the fans here in the arena who helped us make history, and all the fans who watch on all the different pay-per-view platforms all over the world. It was really important, given the strength of the relationship and the importance of the relationship between AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery. It was really important to hit a home run on HBO Max in every way. The quality of the wrestling, the quality of the production, the technical aspects of the show and the complete package. And I felt like we knocked the whole complete package out of the park. So that was really cool. Thank you.
Hi, Tony. Davey Portman from Poison Runner. You recently changed the start time of this event to earlier in the day. You know, you've got a lot of European fans. It's actually so much more convenient. It's like 8 p.m., 7 p.m. in the UK and the rest of Europe. Would you consider it as a permanent move moving forwards?
It's definitely something to think about, especially on Saturdays with the way the schedule works and what we're doing. I do think there's something to it. It'd be something to consider also on some of the Sundays. It's been tremendous for 3 straight pay-per-views. I think the point you're making is definitely something I've taken into consideration. All in Texas, that early start time and having that manageable start time in the UK, it made sense. Then we were in London at the O2 for Forbidden Door, and that did have that same kind of domestic here in North America, that kind of afternoon start time, like tonight's show. And that's the 3rd straight pay-per-view that's had an afternoon start time in the East Coast effectively, and the 3rd straight pay-per-view that's been on in prime time in the UK. And we've had great results, great buys from the UK. The TV ratings in the UK are through the roof. Absolutely. That's a huge consideration to us. So that is a big part of it. And I'm really glad you asked that, because that's absolutely one of the considerations we've thought about here. And whether it's Saturday or Sunday, it's definitely given me something to think about. Thank you. I appreciate everybody being here. I'll try to answer as many as I can.
Hi, Tony. Angad here from Tech Goggles. Amazing pay-per-view. Like, I was in the crowd. Like, the energy was next level. So, quick 2-parter. My first one is, like, we had a lot of like surprise entrances, comebacks today. So 2 people that have been trending recently are Chris Jericho and Britt Baker. Even DDP tweeted that she's ready. So, like, anything about that? Any information you have?
Well, I think like I said, this was a huge home run of a pay-per-view. We've had a great night. As you said yourself, we've had some great returns to AEW, and the door is always open to have more great stars return. It seems potentially possible that Wednesday, we already teed up a 6-man tag where fans are starting to get some buzz about who would be the trios partner in the conglomeration with Hologram and Mark Briscoe. That's certainly something to watch. And I definitely was really happy to see Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus come back tonight. I think the crowd really enjoyed that. Before we started playing the music, the crowd was already ready for it. And that was some very effective music rights purchasing. And still got it. And absolutely really great to see Eddie Kingston back. For everyone who thought Eddie Kingston wouldn't get the great reaction without it being a surprise, I don't know. I thought he got a pretty great reaction and people very excited to see him. So I thought it was great. And I think Big Bill absolutely deserved an opportunity like that. That guy's been wrestling his ass off for a long time in AEW. He's been on a great roll. Clearly the fans are behind Big Bill, even though he's not a cookie cutter fan favorite. He's a pretty hard edge guy. The fans clearly connect with Big Bill, and he earned an opportunity to get a great match like this on pay-per-view. And I know Eddie wanted to wrestle Big Bill. So it really worked out. I think it was a great return for Eddie Kingston, and I'm looking forward to having him back in AEW as well. So we've had some great returns tonight, and absolutely there are some other great stars that are away, including those 2 great stars. So absolutely we're keeping the door open for returns, which could happen anytime.
Hey, Tony, just speaking about the HBO Max subject, you're now 9 months into Collision and Dynamite being available there. When you went into this deal, were there certain assumptions you had that maybe have borne themselves out, as well as other surprises about how the linear audience on TBS and TNT have held up? Or
I think it's fascinating, John. I think it's really fascinating to look at how the linear audience has been very strong, and clearly based on the correlations, even though I don't have nearly, like, I don't have the info. I don't have not even 1%. I don't have 1/10 of 1% of the information about what goes on HBO Max that I do about TBS.
How many people on Earth have access to those?
Very
HBO
few,
Max
because
numbers?
it has to be a handful. The streaming companies do a really good job for protecting the information. I don't have it. I swear I don't. And what I think is really amazing to me is what I think is really amazing is we've been able to grow in many cases. In many weeks, you've seen the linear audience actually growing through the year. We've had versus where we ended up last year. You know, what we had just this week for Dynamite was 667,000 P2 viewers for Dynamite, or for the Dynamite portion of September to Remember, and the really strong audience over 500,000 P2 for Collision, which was one of the strongest collisions of the year. And to see these numbers, I think it's really interesting because it would lead me to believe, based on the correlations, that if we are growing the audience with over 50 or particularly 25 plus so much, and seeing that growth 50 plus, even a lot of them are clearly 50 to 54, because you do the calculation and you see the growth in 25 to 54 is higher than the growth in 18 to 49. I think a lot of that 18 to 49 is HBO Max. I think it skews a little younger. There's great reasons to watch either, whether you watch on TBS on Wednesday or HBO Max. I think it's great. If it was me, if you put a gun to my head, I honestly might pick TBS. Why? Because there's probably on average, usually 12 to 15 minutes more wrestling on TBS or TNT because of the picture-in-pictures. I am somebody who really likes the picture-in-picture wrestling. I only get to see them on tape shows. In the pandemic, I would see them every other Wednesday because it was like we would go live tape, and I like picture-in-picture wrestling. We certainly didn't invent it, but we did bring it back, and I think it adds to the show. You do get that with TBS and TNT right now, but there's great things on HBO Max too. And for a lot, I honestly believe, I think there's young fans that had cut the cord the last few years that have come back to AEW. Clearly, we've seen an over 50 crowd on TBS and TNT come back since last year because we have brought in fans. It's there. The numbers are black and white. There's been people over 50 that weren't watching last year on TBS and TNT that are. And you see that growth there. And I do think we're seeing young viewership growth to complement it on HBO Max as well. 25 to 54 and total viewership in the first two quarters really grew from where we were last year. And I think it was really encouraging to see such a great number for September. Remember, it was a great crowd in London, Ontario. Those people were awesome. And everybody who watched it, whether it was the 667,000 on TBS or all the people around the world, all the people watching HBO Max, I think they got a really great show. And it felt like tonight, again, people got a really, really great show, which was really important for the first HBO Max pay-per-view, and to have the president of TBS and TNT in the house watching the show, watching a lot of it in Gorilla, going up to the suite. That's pressure. To have the men and women go out to the ring and see the president of the network standing over my shoulder watching the show, that's pressure when you're a pro wrestler. And they all hit home run after home run after home run. Every wrestler that went out there tonight did a great job, and they all knew the president of TBS and TNT is standing over Tony's shoulder watching this. So I got to go out and do a great job. And all those women and men absolutely crushed it. It was awesome. Thank you, John. Thanks.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good. Go ahead. I'm glad.
Mark Webster from Wrestle Thrones. I had a question. Will we ever have a Blood and Guts event anytime soon this year?
Yes, I think there is a great potential for a Blood and Guts event. It requires a unique seating setup. Because with a 2-ring setup, it involves putting the event on sale, basically telling the people this is going to be Blood and Guts. It's not a show that's up right now because everybody's seen the seat maps and there's no double ring shows up. But I do think there's a good chance of that. So please stay tuned. I'm glad you asked. Thank you for asking.
Hi, Tony. Ella J, a wrestling gal. We've heard Renee, Hangman, and Kyle Fletcher referred to the AEW World Championship as the men's World Championship to kind of parallel the women's world title. So I'm curious if you've seriously considered officially changing the title to the men's World Championship.
It's, absolutely. It's gotten great traction. I think it's something to consider for the official record keeping. It's still as it has been, but I do think for Hangman, for his graphics, for describing what it is, that's something that's important to him. And that's pretty much a great example of what I'm talking about. If that's something that he believes in and that's his authentic self and that's how he wants the title presented, then that's something I support and believe in. I think it works great both ways. So it's a great question, but definitely with Hangman as the world champion, he asked me about that. And I said, you know what, with Hangman Page, which for the foreseeable future is the world champion, and there's no end in sight. So it is the men's world championship right now. Thank you.
Drew Dalby, Brock and Dalby Show, Roger Sports Media. Thanks for having us here today. You tweeted after Dynamite this week that London would get a show every year. You were so happy with how it went. Here in Toronto, they've obviously been spoiled. Ontario in general has been spoiled for AEW programming, but you also said earlier, London is your favorite place in the world. You guys are obviously all over the States.
Now, London, Ontario did a great job this week.
Sure.
But when I said London's my favorite
Absolutely.
place in the world, I meant London, England.
That's what I assumed, yes.
But that being said, I don't think I've ever been more excited about a pro wrestling crowd than the London crowd this week. And anybody who was in the house, I think some of you I saw there. And that was very real in the commercial breaks when I was coming out, getting the people and just telling them to keep doing what you're doing. And then what I said at the end, too, when I meant it, I've been waiting my whole life to get people. That was unbelievable. They were incredible. The London, Ontario wrestling crowd, London and Ontario is certainly putting themselves on the map as one of my favorite places in the world. That's because last year they crushed it. They crushed it on Collision last year. And backstage, I was saying that all day. I was telling everybody, for those of you who weren't at this Collision last year, you're not going to believe this crowd. And people were like, I've never been here before. I don't know what to expect. I was like, listen, for September to Remember, everybody who worked that Collision show last year here knows this is one of the best crowds we've ever had. Just get ready. And people were shocked because it was doing a 3-hour show. Last time we were here, we did a 2-hour Collision. A lot of the people on Dynamite hadn't been there. There was a lot of the crew that had never been to London, Ontario. They didn't know what to expect. And boy, was everybody impressed and blown away.
My question would be, with AEW becoming more and more international and you finding more of these hot wrestling crowds all around the world, it's a good problem to have, but are you starting to approach the problem where when you're looking for where the next show is going to be, you feel like some markets have to be left out?
Well, no, I think we do wrestling 52 weeks a year. We do multiple shows a week, so it never ends. There's always a chance to come someplace. And the great thing is the cadence can be different, but I think we've gotten in a really good rhythm and have identified cities that have been really loyal to AEW. And I really want to make an effort. Nobody's perfect. I can't say everybody's going to get it right 100% of the time, but I can tell you the cities that have supported us, we're really trying to go back and hit and reward them for supporting AEW. And London was a great example because they did a great job on a Collision last year. They earned themselves a very special 3-hour show that everybody in AEW holds in really high regard. It was really important to all of us to put on a great 3-hour go home for September to Remember in that big spot ahead of this really important pay-per-view, because to be honest, for all of us and everybody that works here, this was one of the most important weeks in the history of the company. So I'm really proud of everybody. Since we first launched the very original Double or Nothing, you could count on one hand how many times there was this amount of pressure in a week on the crew. And back when we started the original Double or Nothing, there was no TV. There was no Dynamite. There was no 3-hour September to Remember. There was certainly no 1-hour live TNT show before a pay-per-view, which we have never done until today. We have never done a TV going into a pay-per-view. It was a very different energy in a good way backstage before going into the pay-per-view than, typically, because we were that much tighter. And again, when you got the president of the network watching the tailgate brawl from Gorilla, that also is good pressure that everybody stepped up and delivered. So these cities that have really stepped up for AEW and delivered for us, we want to keep delivering for them and going back. Tonight, Toronto was great. It's now the second time we've done over $1 million Canadian and over $1 million American in this arena. We've had some great nights.
Party.
Well, and also
yeah.
a lot of great milestones in Toronto, including it was our first ever show here in Toronto where Renee arrived in AEW.
Right.
It's been 3 years.
Yes.
And
Thank you. It's been a blast. I love it. I love being here.
I hope you had a great birthday in your hometown.
I did. Yeah, I really rang it in. It's been great. My voice is shot from it. So
you did great.
I'm having a hell of a time.
We did it.
Mark Quill, Wrestling Observer. To circle back to the question about the AEW originals being used before, is there any chance we'll see Nyla Rose getting used again? Because given how popular she is with fans.
Yeah, absolutely. Nyla Rose, another great champion. We saw Rio return just this past month to AEW. Rio, the very first AEW Women's World Champion. She defeated Nyla Rose, and Nyla Rose later captured that championship from her. So we saw the return of one former AEW Women's World Champion to AEW very recently. I think, again, as I said before, tonight we saw so many great returns, and we've set the stage for some big returns. So the door is open to a lot of the great stars being in the ring and with us very soon.
2 more questions for Tony. Maybe 3, because there's 3 hands here. We'll see.
Hi, Riley Jabor, K-Rock 1057, Rogers Sports and Media. Tony, we know you're a big statistics and numbers guy, so I have to ask, do you know the exact number of thumbtacks that were in the tables and tacks match tonight?
Oh, thousands. At one point, we had talked about saying 10,000, but I think since we didn't know the exact number, we, and given our great relationship with TNT, we thought that, tables and tacks was very appropriate for TNT, especially given Mark had wanted to be challenging for the TNT title, and Max, instead of going on his honeymoon, chose to show up in Philadelphia and hose Mark out of an opportunity at the TNT Championship. So very fitting Mark could get some payback in a TNT match of his own choosing. I don't know exactly how many tacks, but I would think it's safe to say thousands of tacks out there.
Hey, Tony. Braden Harrington here from Poison Rana. Want to say great show here. Got to shout out the real London, Ontario again. I want to circle back.
That's great.
Canadian fans seem to love AEW, and after another great pay-per-view tonight, can the fans expect another pay-per-view possibly in the greater Toronto area?
Absolutely.
Possibly the Sky Dome one day, maybe? Yeah, I said
Are you
Sky
referring
Dome.
to the Rogers Center?
What?
It's
What?
Sky Dome.
Tony,
Just call
no.
it the Sky Dome.
Well, my good friends at Rogers would.
They would understand. They would understand.
But that being said, yeah, that's another great historic venue. I'm really proud to be here in Scotiabank Arena. I'm very proud that we made history here again, that it's our most tickets we've ever sold in Canada, another $1 million gate here. It's real history we've made in Scotiabank. You can bet there's definitely going to be another pay-per-view in Toronto, and I'm quite confident we'll do another pay-per-view here in Scotiabank. There are great venues in Toronto, and like you said, that one of them absolutely is Rogers Center. There are some great places here. We've had great history. Renee arrived in the Coca-Cola Coliseum 3 years ago. Okay. And then we've scaled up. We had Forbidden Door here. And then we had now All Out, our most successful All Out in history, the 7th edition of All Out, the most tickets we've ever sold. We hit all these great milestones here in Toronto. 100% we'll do another pay-per-view here in Toronto. And I also think there are other great cities in Canada that could be great potential pay-per-view homes. Thank you for asking. This support we've gotten here in Canada is first class.
All right, Tony, we'll clear out this row and then we'll call it.
All right, good.
Make them
Thank
good.
you, Adam.
Tony, Joel Pearl from Fightful and In the Weeds.
You're getting Adam in a good mood. He would have normally. You can tell everybody's
Yeah, he
in a
would've
good
shut it
mood.
down.
If Adam's seriously, this is good. Even Adam is very good.
It's a great show.
Yeah.
Tony, I'm glad you mentioned music rights, because my question to you a few years ago at Forbidden Door was about the same. We're going to update it a little bit. We've seen a lot of production updates and upgrades with AEW, and also a lot of new music coming in for a lot of the talent. Some of it's licensed, some of it is produced, I assume, by Mikey Ruckus. With that in mind, what goes into the decision to pick between who gets a licensed theme, who gets a theme from Mikey? Also, as a follow-up, we had Blake Christian on In the Weeds not too long ago, so the question remains, when will you license Lovin' on Me by Jack Harlow?
Okay, with that, I think I got turned down on, to be honest with you, because I tried. And I believe I got turned down, didn't I? Yeah. Yeah, I have not. I got rejected for that, so I don't want to put any heat on him. You know, he seems like a nice guy. I've been around him enough times at parties. Seems like a nice guy, Jack. But you know, I'm glad to hear that you support it. So maybe, hopefully, that'll lead to more public pressure for him to accept my offers, my overtures towards him. And as for the music rights, I feel it out. You know, a lot of the great songs in AEW are the songs that we've composed internally. A lot of those are by Mikey Ruckus. And some of them come from Mikey's brain completely. And a lot of them are Mikey just does a great job. He has a concept and he sends it to me and I go, that's it. That's the song. There are some that are ideas, like the FTR theme, where I say, okay, this is what I want. And then I get it back and I say, okay, yes, but change this to this, change this to this, change this to this, and this. And Mikey wrote the song, but I gave him a clear concept of what I was looking for. There's somewhere Mikey has a great vision and he does it all himself. There's somewhere it's like, okay, here's the idea. And there's somewhere it's like, let's just try to license this song because that's the perfect song. Nobody, rather than try to reinvent the wheel. And that's where we've had a lot of the successes. And Mikey's written perfect songs that were excellent. And there's been other times where we've licensed a track. In those cases, Mikey could have written a song that was tremendous too, but it just felt like the right song at the right time. We've had a great Dynamite theme when we launched. That was a great theme. But this year I thought it would be really cool if we were able to get Sum 41. You wanted war. We did
That's
it.
right.
We did it. And I think that's a great example of a new music license we've acquired this year. Then there's some music we hadn't heard in a long time, like Tarzan Boy tonight, Baltimore, which was very cool. Brodito had just come back from the match. So Bandito and I, as both big fans of early 2000 CMLL, we were reminiscing about, the GDI, Ultimo Guerrero, Rey Bucanero, Tarzan Boy, the originator. And, but boy, was that really nice to hear the crowd get fired up and see them waving, knowing, okay, this is going to just set this place on fire when they actually hear the song. So that's a great example with licensed music. So it's really just kind of got to feel it out, and it's a case-by-case basis. Thank you.
Macaulay from Rock 95. First of all, it is a great coat, Tony. Compliments on
nice?
that. However,
Beautiful
hers
jacket.
is better.
Yes.
My jacket's pretty
That
good.
is a Canadian tux.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
There was a lot of love for London, Ontario earlier, and I was thinking about going in the different direction from behind us. Clearly, Toronto is a regular and loyal market for you, but with the change of philosophies to your TVs being in the more intimate venues to get that kind of insane atmosphere, have you considered Ontario markets a little further off the 401, like Barrie?
Maybe Oshawa.
Oh, see, this is where Renee's expertise, and okay, well, these are both good. That's two good ones.
Durham region.
I'm open to all kinds of suggestions. It's been great this week getting back into some of the big, awesome arenas, and I think it served us very well. It was been great running some of these intimate venues, but also having the big crowds in the big arenas, whether it was for the pay-per-view like Forbidden Door at the O2 or tonight, both huge $1 million gates, huge successes, both of them two of the biggest nights in the history of the company. These last that's three straight pay-per-views over $1 million gate, three of the biggest gates in AEW history on the last three pay-per-views, all with the great start time and great pay-per-view numbers from everything we've seen from tonight and knowing what we know about the last few shows, a lot of really positive things. But yeah, it's also great running the shows in the big arenas, and we had great experiences in some of these intimate places. Like you said, the Aragon Ballroom in Chicago, the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. So it can be the best of both worlds, but if the right venue is out there, please, we'll look at anything. And here in Ontario, the support is so good. So, okay, it's good to know. Well, duly noted.
Hey, Tony, Derek T. Lewis with the D-Lou Podcast on Believe Network. I wanted to ask about AEW Dark. Years ago, a lot of opportunity were given to a lot of independent wrestlers. Some that I do know that's on the indies, and some that I didn't know. Could there be an opportunity to bring back Dark to create those opportunities for some of those independent wrestlers?
Potentially. I think it's important that we focus as we, when we stopped doing Dark, it was the beginning of Collision. And I think we do a much bigger, more grand, ambitious show each week with what we've been able to build, and we've been able to really grow something this week. The audience that stuck with the Collision for September to Remember was tremendous. We've had really great returns on that show. So going to that cadence and increasing the volume of content that AEW produces each week in 2023, it was an agreement that I made that we would focus on doing the shows that we're doing now. And I think this year we've had such a great run of success with Warner Brothers Discovery to launch the show simulcast on HBO Max, to see great audience retention and some growth on TBS and TNT while we're also putting the shows on HBO Max. Then tonight, putting on a great pay-per-view, putting on a great show in the arena, having great wrestling, great rivalries, great moments, and technically a pay-per-view that worked very well and was received by the fans and worked on a new platform, which can always be hard for all the people working very hard behind the scenes in the truck at HBO Max, all the things that it took to make this happen. So it's a great question. I have interest in it, but I also really enjoy what we're doing with AEW Dynamite, AEW Collision, and the core AEW products. I also spend a lot of time, and I am really proud, and I do think it's worth reevaluating. If you haven't watched it much recently, take a look at what we're doing with Ring of Honor the last several months. It's really strong. I thought the show this Thursday was good. The episodes we've put on YouTube are free for everybody to watch. Also, it worked out. Maybe silver lining, it may have cost me the technical I will get it back from Bright Cove. But I will say that on this last pay-per-view, maybe it was a good thing that everybody got to see that. Maybe it was a good thing that everybody got to see Ring of Honor, what it's become in 2025, and get to see some of these TV shows that we've put up in recent weeks. See the replay we put up of Global Wars Mexico ROH, which was a stacked show that really set the table for Supercard of Honor. And then we had some great shows we put on YouTube that really set the stage for Death Before Dishonor. Death Before Dishonor, that show's free for everybody to watch. If you haven't seen it yet, I thought it was a tremendous, tremendous show. It's not necessarily the scale, the production budget, the kind of big arena and $1 million gate we're trying to do here. It's a really passionate wrestling show. But I think that some of the matches that we've delivered in Ring of Honor this year, whether it's been championship matches involving Athena or Bandito, some of the great matches and moments we've had in ROH this year, I think the promotion has really hit a great stride. Bandito was up here earlier. Two of the best matches I've seen all year, in particular, just sitting up here next to Bandito, were Bandito's match at Supercard with Takeshita and Bandito's match with Hechicero at Death Before Dishonor. And I think the ROH shows, whenever we put up a show on YouTube, I'd like to think it can still fill some of that void of that free YouTube wrestling. Now, we aren't doing it necessarily every week, and I understand the appetite for that. So it is something for me to think about. We make good money putting ROH behind the paywall. That's why it cost so much money when it wasn't working on that technical error. And it ended up being a really great thing because the fan reception to ROH Death Before Dishonor was so positive. People thought it was one of the best shows of the year, and a lot more people saw it because of that. So in the end, maybe it's a really positive thing. It feels like everything has worked out so well for AEW this year. And again, I think we've done really well to focus on, when it comes to AEW, Dynamite, Collision, and the pay-per-views, but also there's been an integration of ROH into AEW in a very carefully curated way. It's not exactly what I tried to do 3 years ago, but certainly you've seen, whether it's Bandito, the world champion, being very involved in the AEW shows. Athena has been very involved. Athena's out right now, but will be back with us soon, but has worked so hard and definitely is very beat up after over 1,000 days as world champion, countless great defenses. I do think having a lot of the including we saw the interim world TV champion of ROH, Mina Shirakawa, tonight on the Tailgate Brawl. We've seen a lot of involvement from some of those ROH wrestlers and champions in AEW this year. We saw Dustin Rhodes take on a lot, winning 2 championships in ROH, and then win the TNT championship and eventually maybe take on too much. It was a lot on Dustin's shoulders before it all came crashing down against Kyle Fletcher. I really think what we've done this year with AEW, Dynamite, and Collision has been great. I'm really proud of it. But for Dark, yeah, I would be open to that. But I think there's other shows and things we can do to kind of fill that void, if it makes sense. And with that being said, I am so proud of what we've done. Renee, thank you for it's been a long day for everybody. We started early this morning.
We're in it to win it.
We did a great job. It's been a long day. Renee and everybody backstage, this whole team has put in a great shift. We had a very early call time. That's one of the side effects of these earlier start times. And I really appreciate all of you. Thank you to everybody here. I really appreciate all of you. Everybody who watched the pay-per-view tonight. Thank you. And for the people sitting in the room right now, I just want to say, I know a lot of you have been covering AEW for a long time. Some of you have been covering us since the very beginning. Thank you very much. This is the 7th edition of All Out over the past 6 years. Some of you have been covering every All Out and have been with us for every single one, and I really, really appreciate it. Without people covering AEW from the very beginning, before we had a TV deal or anything to hang our hat on, it was the wrestling media that said this is important, that covered it, that gave us the opportunity, and really before our first pay-per-view, all we had was digital coverage and working with you and trying to get our name, AEW, and our reputation out there and build off that. And it's only possible because of the great wrestlers in AEW, the staff in AEW, the fans, and also all of you cover the wrestling shows, the media. Thank you for working so hard. Thank you for being here today. Thanks for staying to the end. I tried to answer as many questions as I could. Adam was in a very good mood
Adam was
today.
so generous tonight.
Adam really let me go. And very, very good. And it's worked out to all of our benefit. I think I thought it was a very good scrum. Thank you, Renee, for
Thank you.
a great tailgate brawl, a great pay-per-view, a great scrum. You're 3 for 3 yet again. Thank you. And one more time, happy birthday, Renee.
Oh, thank you. And Tony, a huge congratulations to you on all of the success of All Out tonight. We're going to go up.